I don't know how well the audio is going to be on this, but because I am going to be doing some kick cooking and just sharing a little bit. So um, I am in Florence, Italy, and I'm just cooking some pasta. I've been walking around the whole day. Actually, I did some work in the morning, um, reading and writing, that kind of stuff. And I went for a walk today. There's a cool museum that I wanted to go see, and I went and did that. Um, but, I want people to sort of realize, an important thing is to realize that your life um, is distinct from other people. And the stuff that you see, whether it's whether it's online or you talk to people, they're presenting a narrative to you that is always positive, and they don't sort of see everything, and they don't tell you every single that's actually going on. I personally believe that human beings, being human beings, were not a heck of a lot different across time and across cultures. Um, which is, the beautiful thing with the humanity of being a human, right? And of being connected, that we're all relatively the same. But at the same time, it is nice because then you can reflect on that it's okay to feel not so good some days. It's okay to take in emotions. It's okay to, just live a normal human life, which I think this sort of projection, um, the narrative that is sold a lot and is particularly bad within the sort of academic culture. The narrative is that you have to be always on and that things are always sort of perfect, um, in sort of, like your life, however that might be. But I just want to share that your life is messy. Um, just like what's going on right now, right? Like I'm trying to be as real as possible. Um, and if the audio quality is terrible and you can't hear that, well, that's fine too, right? Like I think that is sort of reaction or reflection of life. And I think we should sort of acknowledge that. I think this sort of perfection um, is, is a bizarre. It's bizarre to think that everything has to be perfect. Um, walking around, it's cool to walk around in Florence, um, but it also makes you reflect a lot because you sort of see these masters and what they did with their life. Their life actually, the masters that we know, these sort of artists that are well known, they probably had actually a horrible life, an absolute horrible life. Um, but we sort of see the one little snapshot and representation of who they are rather than their complete life. Um, and the reason why I say that is you just see at what they accomplished. And in order to accomplish the amazing things that they accomplished, they had to have a terrible life that was not really all that enjoyable, that they probably struggled with all the time. It just would have been tough. And even at that time, sort of Renaissance time, life was really hard. Um, and that's, often the sort of story that is told within everything that you actually see. Um, and, as you're going about and sort of seeing the world, you begin to realize that this humanity, this who we are as individuals, who we are as people, um, really is shared across time. There's not a lot of differences between what we did and what these folks did. And here's the thing. This is the thing that to reflect on is that with these masters, you're only seeing the best of the best, you're not seeing normal people of that time, right? Normal people of that time had an absolute miserable life. Um, and the reason why you don't see them is they're just not talked about, right? You never really saw them. They weren't part of history. They were essentially, background actors at the time, and their life was miserable. Um, so I just want everybody to realize, right? Like I think my sort of podcast I did yesterday was sort of along a similar theme. Is that the what we sort of perceive as what we want often is based on an imaginary view, a fairy tale view, and you should learn to just be satisfied with who you are. And I know that, and it's not like I'm saying, just sit around and do nothing. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying is enjoy who you are at the moment while sort of thinking about working towards where you can actually go. And it's this delicate balance of constantly fighting that, of constantly being too sort of forward focused versus where you are at this moment and thinking about right now. And I think, triangulating that, pondering it, questioning it, thinking about it, I think is super, super healthy. And there's never a balance with it. Sometimes it's like, ugh, you have to do too much of one thing. Sometimes, just things are chaotic, and that's fine. I think that's my message repeatedly is who you are as a person is perfectly fine. And you have to learn to address some of those things by being more kind to yourself. At least for me, as somebody that's always trying to, achieve and strive and all of that kind of stuff, I'm always coming back. I'm always triangulating and saying, I'm okay. Um, I know that my life is not where I want it to be, but I'm okay. And I spend some time forcing myself to do things that I love, forcing myself to do things that are just good for you. Today, my preference was to sit inside and to actually do work. But I was like, I'm in a beautiful city right now. I'm only here for another day or two. I'm going to go and make the most of this and go for a long walk and go to a really cool, just a cool museum that I was told was cool and turned out to be really amazing. Um, and if you haven't gone to the Stilbert Museum, it's really wild here. But, it turned out to be a really good experience that added value to my life. Now, will that add value in the long run? Will I be known for my visit to the Stilbert Museum? Probably not. That's okay. I'm okay with that. And that allows me to function. And I think coming back to this, realizing it, thinking about it, pondering it, is one of the most healthy things that we can do. All right. Take care and have a wonderful day.